Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to the Avengers Endgame Spoiled Rotten podcast stream. I am only joined by Cecil of the Horror Show right now. Cecil, say hi.
Hi.
We should be having Luca Razorwire reviews, having internet trouble, but we'll leave that box open as a mystery. Maybe somebody else will drop in. Who knows? Who knows on this channel? You never know. So Cecil, you saw Avengers Endgame late. Like you saw it 10 years away from the opening date as far as the rest of the civilization is concerned.
Yeah, all 10 years, all of yesterday at 11 a.m. my time.
What a loser. What took you so long?
Life, son. I had to go to work.
No such thing in Avengers land, sir.
I'll tell you what, if it makes a difference, I went to work that night, I set an appointment, and that appointment made a sale today, so I made $1,000 for not going on Thursday night.
Boo! You could have sold an Avengers ticket for that money. No, it's good. That's good. It's good to hear that. So, I guess I'll ask you this first before. Quick warning to anybody watching: we're going to spoil a movie. Just rotten. Just you don't want to be here if you haven't seen the movie yet, or you care about spoilers.
I'm okay being spoiled, but maybe not spoiled rotten.
What was it hard for you? Did you avoid the internet for the 18 hours or so that everything was out there?
I didn't actually.
Okay.
I the only things I really go on are Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Oh, is that all?
And yeah, that's it. Just
Nothing
three of the biggest ones, But I don't generally go to the recommended feed. I generally go right to my subscription feed on YouTube. And what?
Which is still pretty bad.
Well, I don't know. I don't generally subscribe to people that put that kind of crap in their thumbnails. Okay. You know what I mean? And then Facebook, again, I unfollow anyone that puts anything that I don't really care to read. Like, cause I get a lot of friend requests from, fans and stuff like that. So I approve some of them, ones that are friends with, more people in our circle and stuff like that. I'll approve, but if someone's a clear drama queen that's suddenly in my feed and stuff like that, I get rid of them. I just unfollow. So I wasn't too concerned about people spoiling. I mean, that Killer Flicks group was a little dangerous, I hear, for
Oh yeah, somebody was dropping bombs.
Apparently, because I kept seeing Cody's posts about people spoiling stuff in the group more than anyone spoiling anything in the group. So I guess I got lucky there, but yeah, I made it through. Didn't have any idea. I didn't know anything beyond the trailers, which means I didn't know anything beyond the first act. So the whole movie, I was like, when they revealed time travel, I was like, oh shit, it's that. And I was like, oh, well, okay.
I don't think they did any of that in the trailers, which
no,
is
that's
funny.
What I'm saying. No, that's why it was a surprise. They didn't reveal that until Act 2.
I have to give credit to my private hookup. I knew about that while being incredibly vague. Somebody told me some intricate details that Ant-Man is the key to everything, and sure enough, Ant-Man was the key to everything. So
time heist.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have a soft spot for time travel movies, but when they were just referencing, insert time travel movie here, it was just like, oh, this is awesome. And then the Back to the Future 2 little joke, the little jab there, I just ate it up. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So in the chat, Daniel Hammond says, saw it yesterday, good movie and great conclusion. Although I heard Spider-Man Far From Home is the last, supposedly, of this phase 3, right?
Phase 3, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's accurate. Hey, Dino, Raiders. Oh, talking to Dino in the chat. My favorite parts were all the Brie Larson scenes. All of them, huh? If you peeked, you missed them.
is Raiders trolling? Come on.
Possibly. Brie Larson is our future Brie Olsen.
Oh, you mean Captain Ex Machina? Okay, that's who they're talking about. Okay. That was that. Okay. Anyway, we'll get to it.
I'm glad we got it so early, so I had seen it by the time all the spoilers really started getting going. But Dennis is in Denmark. He got it early, like Wednesday, which is way before Western civilization had a sniff of it. But yeah, believe in the hype. Nice guest. I don't know if I call him nice, but to each his own.
Is she better in Endgame than her own movie? She's about the same. I mean, she had more to do in her own movie.
She literally disappears for a fair chunk of the movie and says, I won't be back for a while. And then it's like you said, Cecil, she's Deus Ex Machina, which
she is twice. She's at the very beginning. She's Stark's Ex Machina. As she shows up out of nowhere, and then she is again at the very end when she destroys Thanos' ships, single-handedly, and then almost whoops Thanos' ass.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get the SJW shit out of the way first. There's a scene where all the females line up and take something on together that I felt could be the most heavy-handed nonsense that we've seen yet, and like that's saying something. No.
Okay.
I haven't seen Dumbo.
There's something worse than that. But
really?
Oh my God, yeah. There's something so much worse than that. Can I tell you what that is? Just as a sidetrack.
By all means.
So at one point, the kids in the movie, when they go to this park run by Michael Keaton, there's like a Futureland sort of area, right? Mm-hmm. And very much like Batman Mask of the Phantasm has that scene where it's like the domesticated stuff, but Joker is like patting the robotic wife on the butt and stuff like that. It's a scene like that where it's like robots of the future, right? But the man is standing baking in a dress, and the woman is at the table dressed in a suit, like drinking coffee, preparing for the day. Like they literally just swap the clothes on and genders of the things. Like, this is the way of the future, even though the movie takes place in the 40s. It was so heavy-handed. But back to Avengers, this one, and the stupid part about the heavy-handedness of this is they did the same thing in Infinity War, but in a much more subtle way. There was a point at which there was a character in peril, and only the female characters are there to save her at one point in the final battle of Infinity War. I'm trying to recall because
dude, it wasn't because I would have remembered something like that. The fact that all the chicks lined up and they were like, the line was super cringe too. It was just like, "Don't worry, we got your back," or something like that. We'll help her. Just fucking. They should have just said girl power.
Maybe I was thinking Black Panther. Maybe it happened in the fight scene in Black Panther.
Yeah, that could have been it.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. But anyway, it was done more subtly because it was just the female characters happened to be the ones right there to help out. And like this just was like, it's like someone whistled, I can't whistle like that, but they're like, yo, calling all females. And it's like, okay, come on.
Yeah, a little too much.
See, Ben Grimm says it was Scarlet Witch in the first one. See, I thought there was a moment like that.
If it stuck out, I would have remembered it. It did, like, the movie was fine. It was just at that moment, it's like, guys, I'm usually pretty okay about this shit, but this is guys, we get it. We fucking get it. Like, enough. Do you guys believe the rumors that 2 versions were recorded, one with Captain Marvel being the hero of the day, and the version we got due to all the Captain Marvel hate?
There would have been too much to shoot afterwards to do that.
They could have just cut shit. I mean, she's really, like, she's there for a hot second at the end.
Well, I mean, it feels like there would have had to be a lot of differences because it's not like there was one person that beat him, so it just would have been her instead. So she just would have distracted him longer while everything else happened around him, just like things did. Like, I don't understand what.
Yeah, that's a good point because it does feel like everybody had their moment. Like everybody had their, all right, let me chip away at him. And
I did like how he handled her though. How he's just like, oh, Power Stone, yoink, wham, and then we don't see her again until the funeral. She's knocked that far out of the picture.
All right, so let's trip back and go to the beginning. I felt, you mentioned it before we went live. It doesn't feel 3 hours, which is quite a thing to say. But what I said was the beginning, if anything in this movie felt I don't want to say slow per se, but for lack of a better word, the beginning felt like it was a bit methodical about what it wanted to do, and that opening half an hour or so where we're getting the aftermath and just how bleak shit is. It almost seems like there was no power, no anything, which is kind of weird because there's still half of us. Shouldn't electricity still be going? Like,
well, no, things are still happening. Like,
dude, it looked like World War Z or some shit. There was like nothing.
Yeah, it. I mean, it was like the support group was in the middle of like an abandoned neighborhood, and like, hey, who knows? Maybe Thanos' snap happened geographically as opposed to randomly, right?
Just half the world, literally.
Yeah. So I don't know. That actually I did take note of as well, but it was such a minor thing in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, it did, and honestly, I felt like the 5-year jump, they should have gotten a lot farther as far as getting society more visually back on than it was. You know what I mean? Like 5 years later during the support group time, it looked like, I imagine there was some repopulation, some sorrowful repopulation at some point, and there would be more people at least somewhere, but they were just like, nope, everyone stopped having sex for 5 years because they were so depressed.
Yeah. A lot of it felt very the week after 9/11
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years is a long time. I remember the week, the couple weeks after 9/11, there was stuff on the news like, is there a place for Britney Spears in this world? And here we are, tenfold worse. So it's a nice idea to think.
And look, Britney's in the mental asylum. See, that's what happens.
Yeah,
we can judge the status of society is proportional to the status of Britney Spears.
I think the one touch I really enjoyed was Captain America. I want to say Captain Marvel. Captain America was leading that support group.
Yeah.
And it was really neat to see him, a superhero, doing regular person shit. Like, I can't save the world, but I'll save the world emotionally. Like that was a really neat touch for me.
And I also like that they didn't treat him like Captain America per se. Like he was just the guy leading the support group.
Right.
So they actually did a number of things in a much more realistic way in this. I thought, and we'll obviously get there, but I thought that the goodbye at the end was handled very realistically as opposed to the typical sort of way when it comes to Pepper. So we'll get to it.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, that was nice. And, seeing him in that capacity, because like Captain America is always still somewhat not holier than thou, but he's always on a level above the rest of us. But this really felt like he was just one of the he's just one of the survivors now,
planting those seeds for the third act, though.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
he's worthy. He's worthy.
I wonder if he's even wearing the same clothes. He might be now in retrospect.
Like really?
That same cream colored coat.
Oh shit. Yeah, I've only seen it once.
Yeah, me too.
Only.
Mine was more recently than yours, of course. So there you go.
So your memory's fresh.
It's another win.
Yeah. So, despondent, just fucking miserable. 30 minutes of what would happen after the snap. Although I think 5 years is a little. We'd be picking back up. And Dennis in the chat, that's a good point. Stark and Pepper had a good time because they had a kid. Well, yeah.
Well, that's Tony Stark. I mean,
that was his contribution to his helping out. I'll repopulate.
Exactly. He had to get some kind of exercise in when he was emaciated. So what else could he do?
Sure. Oh yeah. He looked a wreck.
He did.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I think that might have been their test on CGIing a body.
Oh, yeah. How did I feel about dilapidated City Field? Yeah, it's just another home game to me. That's what I felt.
Oh, that's not what it normally looks like?
Yeah. yeah. Just last night, that's exactly what it looked like. So we get Ant-Man, who pops back, and now I'm already forgetting how he
actually happened later. because there was actually a bunch of stuff that happened even before the credits.
Film
Ant-Man doesn't pop up until the 5 years later.
No,
because they go and kill Thanos first.
Mm.
Like that's that they like that's what I was so surprised about this movie. And like people are like, it starts off slow. I'm like, bitch, it starts off with them going and hacking Thanos' head off. Like how is that slow? You know, like I get it. They had to do.
I forgot it. Like because
they
I knew like, this can't be the beginning or the end or like.
No, they had to do the slow. You know, the everyone is where they are afterwards, right? And then I was like, they're like, yeah, let's go get this son of a bitch. And I was like, wait, what? Already? Like you guys just got way more of your asses handed to you than just you.
Am I in the wrong show time? Wait a minute.
Exactly.
This surely is the end. Wait a minute.
Yeah, clear.
Switch the reels in the back, please.
I'm like, oh, Thanos must join the Avengers or something. Like, and that whole scene was really cool. Because you know I was totally caught off guard by the beheading first off, and when we learn why he used the stones, you know, one more time, that was a cool reveal. So I'm like, damn, like they're
I didn't put it out because this is a spoiler stream, and if only to remind me and refresh my memory of what the fuck.
Oh, say that again.
So the second time he uses.
So the second time he used, yeah. So the way they even find him, right? They're all like, okay, we don't know where he is. And first off, we have to earn ourselves a no prize to even figure out how Captain Marvel knew where Tony Stark was. The only way we can figure is that Captain Marvel goes back in the post-credit scene of her movie, and she finds Captain America and all them, and she's like, "Where's Fury?" But at that point, Rocket would be there, and so Rocket, since it's Rocket's ship that Tony and Nebula are on, like that's his car, so he would obviously, and I actually like that. I heard someone else use that analogy. He would have GPS for his car. So that's how he knows where the ship is, but they have no way to go and retrieve it. So they're like, hey, can you go get our ship? Maybe someone's up there that survived. So that's the only way that Captain Marvel could possibly know where that ship was, first of all. Second of all, the way they figure out where Thanos is because the
radioactive whatever,
right, the pulse, right? It's like the biggest emanation of energy in the history of the universe, and it happened again 2 days ago. And so when they go to where that was, they zero in on it, and he tells them that he used the stones to destroy the stones. So he snapped one more time in order to blow up all the stones. So there's no more Infinity Stones in this current reality. So as soon as they find that out, they've already held Thanos. He's got a busted up arm and half his body is completely ravaged, and Thor still walks up and cuts his head off with Stormbreaker, like without any ceremony. And that's when it goes like cuts to black, and then we go to 5-year jump.
Yeah. See, I didn't pay that much mind because I like you said, there was no way it was going to have any sort of impact. You knew that there was way more to that than just that. And I guess past Thanos gets killed twice, or like I don't know. The Back to the Future rules kind of fall on their face as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah, well, no, that's what that whole conversation was meant to explain away. They're like, look, there isn't any, if you go back and change things, then you start to fade away because you're still from a separate reality. You're just creating a different new reality in which you didn't, the other you didn't do whatever. And so that's why Thanos from 2014 Avengers can jump forward, or Guardians of the Galaxy rather, can jump forward and get to everyone and bring the Maw and all of his henchmen that got beat in the last one. And yeah, so like they meant to explain it away. There are still some obvious plot holes, like how does Captain America just return the Soul Stone to that fucking planet
without meeting up with Red Skull and having some sort of
that
something?
Would be a great that would have been a really cool scene. Like, yeah. Oh, what are you doing here?
What the fuck?
I'm returning your stone. Motherfucker, I'm here because of you.
Yeah, that should, like, I would hope that that's I think Cody brought it up first a couple of days ago, and I was like, "Holy shit, that needs to be a scene somewhere on a DVD or fuck, just something." That I hope they shot that at the very least.
Not only that, but there's no way by the movie's rules, by the last movie's rules, that Hawkeye should have ended up with the Soul Stone, because you have to sacrifice the thing you love. You can't sacrifice yourself for the thing you love, right? Because you have to literally sacrifice the thing you love, and they're both trying to kill themselves. She sacrifices herself. So unless she's the most vain woman in the Marvel universe, she didn't sacrifice the thing she loves, and neither did he.
Am I the only one that thought of the end of Armageddon when that shit was going on?
No, Harry, I love you.
Yeah, when they were fucking fighting to kill each other. It was just like, really? I had a big Armageddon flashback there, but yeah.
Yeah. So so that doesn't even make sense either. So there are plot holes in this movie for sure.
Sure. So what are we up to now?
Well, technically, we got on me going over the other scene because we were talking about Ant-Man coming back, which basically the savior of the Marvel universe is random rat that walked across his control panel to release him.
Mm-hmm. The rat walks, and Dennis said that earlier. Rat walks across buttons in the van, getting the Ant-Man out again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then no time has passed for him when he comes back, which is just kind of neat, I guess.
5 hours have passed.
Oh, excuse me. So an extended trip.
Yeah. So that obviously leads him to the idea of, oh my gosh. So if only 5 hours went by, maybe there's a way that we can manipulate the flow of time in there and pop out in an earlier time, and maybe we can go back. And it's like, well, that doesn't track, but okay. So that's how they come upon the idea of trying to create a time machine and going back to get the stones before Thanos can at all the places, because they realize that conveniently script wise, all of the people that are still around have had interactions with the stones at some point in the Marvel history past. And so they all know that, where they are at certain points in time as a result. So they basically determine that they have to go back and take a victory lap through the Marvel universe and literally go to different places in the Marvel timeline, from Avengers to Guardians of the Galaxy to what else am I missing? Oh, to Infinity War. I mean, there's a bunch of different times that they go in order to procure the stones.
Fantastic. Oh wait, no, not that.
I honestly thought when I was like, because when Tony first said no and they're like, we need another big brain, I was like, oh motherfuckers, if you bring in Reed Richards, I would love you forever.
Yeah. That's exactly what Marvel was going to do.
Yeah, I know. But wouldn't that be a great way to bring them back? Because Fox owns them, and now Marvel owns Fox.
Dude, I'll tell you what I was hoping for was some sort of Deadpool cameo. But
that's more likely to happen in the next Venom movie than anything else.
Yeah, but aren't they, like, if they're restarting, or I don't even know how this works.
No, Phase 4 isn't gonna. It's not restarting with like all. It's starting up with new, like the new Avengers and shit like that, like the new Ms. Marvel and stuff. It's all this stuff is gonna have happened. It's just not gonna be these characters they're focusing on.
Yeah. Captain Marvel's the key to it all. Mm-hmm. Good luck. Cue Professor Hulk.
I think Shuri should be, because that's what they did in the comics, was make Shuri the current Iron Woman.
You're talking weird shit now. I don't even know what the fuck.
Shuri is the Black Panther's sister, the really thin girl that showed up to the fight with her gauntlets.
Yeah,
that's the
one.
Really super smart tech one. Yeah, so it makes sense. So that would be kind of cool if they did that.
Yep. So Professor Hulk, who's managed to figure out who's now Hulk, but speaking like Mark Ruffalo, which is neat. Thoughts?
I love the Professor Hulk persona from the comics. I loved when the Hulk was Mr. Fix-It, and I loved when he was Professor Hulk. Mr. Fix-It was when he would dress in a white suit and he was a fixer for the mob. That was pretty cool. But Professor Hulk is a really great, because I love when it's Banner's IQ because the whole human versus monster thing that's been done so much in the Hulk lore that I loved when they just did this and put them together because it's a more formidable foe, and they actually kind of made him the comic relief in this. So that was an interesting choice, but not wholly. It didn't feel like wholly out of step for him. You know what I mean? Like I thought it kind of worked. I don't know. It's funny. I saw Lee's review, and he said that one character was like felt severely disrespected.
I think that's what he's talking about.
You think it's because he loves the Hulk, right? He's a big Hulk guy. I know a lot of people thought that of Thor, but I thought the Thor thing was funny, although the joke got old by the end.
Yeah.
3 hours of fat Thor jokes is a lot.
Yeah. I do like the exchange at the diner, whatever, when kids wanted to take pictures with Professor Hulk. And who was it that asked if they want to take a picture with?
He's them? Like, if you want to take a picture with me, I'm Ant-Man too.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, it was Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just go back and forth. And even Mark Ruffalo is like, no, take a picture. You should take a picture with him. And he's just like, no, just take the damn camera.
I think he said goddamn too. It was just like, ooh.
Yeah. I was like, it caught me off guard too. So it might have been take the goddamn camera. Or goddamn phone, whatever it was.
Yeah. So Hulk can't do it. They find out that Hulk's got a little wrong, that he's bringing back baby Ant-Man and senior citizen Ant-Man, and another little cute joke there with the pee in the pants.
Yeah, and I'm not sure which one did it, the baby, the old me, or just me.
Right.
At least if you're going to give a comedic line, give it to Paul Rudd, because he knows how to deliver something like that.
I read that he actually had a writing credit, so he was helping with that shit.
That makes sense. He's funny. So cool. All right. Yeah, no, I liked. And who were they there with? I don't even remember who was across the table from Ant-Man.
I know. So Scarlet, no.
It might have been.
Was it? Shit.
Black Widow? Oh, you know what we didn't even touch on was, the very beginning scene, which was tremendously done.
Oh, Hawkeye?
Yeah, I thought that was even though in the trailer you could tell that's what was going to happen. I'm like, oh, clearly that's the first scene, and we're going to see why Hawkeye turns into Ronin. And it ended up doing it, but the way they did it, the fact that it kept happening behind his back, I was like, that's fucking tragic.
Yeah.
Because but I don't know what's worse. Would you rather Emily fade to dust behind your back, or would you rather see her fade to dust in front of your eyes?
Would I rather?
I'm saying, Jesus. What would be worse to you? Like that, dramatically, what's worse, having to see it happen, or not knowing ultimately what happened because it happened behind your back?
So, as somebody who's tormented with a death, and I pleaded with the police to see pictures of my father, I'm gonna say not seeing it, because there's this thing in the back of my head where I'm like, I just want to know why, how. So I do have some sort of experience with it, because my father committed suicide, and I was just so infatuated with, what did he look like? I just want to know, what was in his general area. So I'm gonna say not seeing it, because there's even I don't know, the person could have ran away. They're still disappeared. You don't know, and that's doesn't
that give you more hope though? Then I don't know,
hope that they're still around, maybe.
Yeah
I guess. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
it's a tough question. No,
so, it is.
Nonetheless, it was a very effective scene. So,
which, by the way, people disappearing into dust is commonplace too. So this is a very a very good conversation I have. So when it does happen, I'll be prepared.
Yeah, well, aren't you good? Yeah, at the time, trust me,
you're
gonna think.
Thank God Cecil asked me. Now I know.
You got it.
Yeah, no, that was brutal. That was pretty brutal. A little funny that hey. Where he turns to get his daughter, and then turns around and everybody's gone. Just a sick joke. All right, guys, seriously.
Yeah. Did you guys teleport my family away? Seriously, what's going on? So yeah, I just wanted to hit on that scene real quick.
So Ben says Cap and Scarlet, and all four go.
It was Cap and Scarlet. Okay, cool, got it.
So yeah, what do we have?
You mean America's ass?
That was cute. I'm wondering if that line. So there's.
That feels like it would be a Paul Rudd line too.
Well, there's another. I don't know how much you know of the online hatred for Brie Larson and her stunt ass.
Oh yeah, her stunt butt. Did you see her in the Captain Marvel suit without it? It's flat as fuck, dude. Like, yeah, she had no ass, so they cast. Yeah, they casted a stunt butt. So I was like, is Dino still there? Like,
yeah. just lounging. Yes, a stunt
fill
ass.
the box.
which, by the way, who cares? So that line to me, like, even if it's not on purpose, the internet hate crew is gonna chew that up and think of it as, oh, that was like a jab at Brie Larson. You know it was.
Well, the funny thing is, if you really break it down, it's not actually his ass that he's saying it to. Right, so right. It's like he's saying it to his stunt ass. So I mean, it'd just be like, whatever. Chris Evans said it about his own stunt ass, so it's okay. Like, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, a little. I see that line, whether or not it was on purpose or what, people are going to chew that shit up for all the silliest reasons. But.
Yeah, Dennis is right. Have you seen the clips of the stars doing the press junket?
Yeah.
What do you think about all that?
So the one I'll give weight to is Jeremy Renner.
He couldn't even, like, he was checking everything except like her while she was talking.
Right. So from what I know of him, he's not that big on celebrity. So like that seems legit. Everything else, I think people are reading into it, because
really?
People talking about Hemsworth and her going at it, and he's kind of catty about who could pick up the hammer. I think that's a fog there. That's a smokescreen, because if you watch other promotional stuff with him, other people say similar shit, and he has the same attitude. So that's just par for the course. Like, you also have to keep in mind these people are sitting in a room for 15 hours together, just a new person asking the same stupid shit in front of them.
What about the Don Cheadle "Oh, don't touch me" thing?
That's
like when
she's
joke. Like, you think
that's
so too?
Joke.
Like, yeah, I guess. I guess.
I mean, the Jeremy Renner thing, I'll give you. Like, I genuinely think that he doesn't really think of celebrities or actors as any big deal. But everything else, I just think it's a little too much.
If Brie is acting in the Hemsworth stuff, because even like she even says something about like, well, it's been like this all day, and it was that kind of throwaway comment that was like, if she's acting and like just playing at this, like, then she's a better actress than I'm giving her credit for.
Oh, I'm not saying that she wasn't.
The Tom Cruise line got to her. Yeah, that's what I thought too. When she's like, I'm not the next Tom Cruise, I'm going to be the first me. And it's like, oh, God, Christ.
Yeah, and that's her. That's an isolated thing that she said. Cunty, sure, absolutely. But I don't think the interactivity between her and Don Cheadle or Hemsworth, I don't think that, I mean, people are reading into it. There's a lot of smoke. I don't know if there's fire, but you could see what you want at this stage with her. She's not doing herself favors, that's for sure. Like sweetheart, just say, the safe stuff. Don't, like this fucking first me bullshit. Hey, how about you make a Top Gun first, and then talk about being the first you. But
now there's that's true. Well, she'll just point to the room. Or room, whatever, because she's like, I want an Oscar for that, bitch.
Awesome. But hey, listen, how many Oscars does Tom Cruise have? Does he have one for Born on 4th of July?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, now there's rumors that she's going to be leading an all-female Avengers, or that she wants to lead an all-female Avengers movie, and I'm like, oh crap, here we go. Yeah. But nonetheless, let's get back to this movie.
Hey, Luke.
Sorry, I feel like I took you off.
Where are you, Luke? What the fuck? You could see us get in here. I don't know if Dino still has the box open, but that empty space is for you, Luke. What the fuck? So anyway, what are we up to? Are we even halfway through this yet? Oh, so they're all caught up. They have the oopsie daisy, I'm gonna pee my pants with Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tony Stark jumps in. Yay! Yeah. Save the day.
I actually thought Tony's acting in this. Someone asked earlier, is Tony better in this or in Infinity War?
Oh,
I thought that he got to stretch different muscles in this, and
dude,
so I
the thing
liked
with
this one
Spider-Man,
better.
holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not only that, but this whole scene when he's working on the design, just sort of because it's in his head, and he's just like, let's just try this. We'll try it in an inverse helix, and blah, 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 and throw this and this on it. And then it says like model work, model approved or whatever, and he's just like, and he just like sits down, like, holy shit. I
Yeah.
just made a time machine.
Yeah.
I thought he was awesome in this movie.
No, I
But that
agree.
was a great scene because then we got the scene where he has to tell Gwen about it, right? And that's her name, right?
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Gwyneth Paltrow. Okay, I was like, why am I
Close
thinking
enough.
Gwen Stacy?
Yeah.
She looks like Gwen Stacy, so it works. But so yeah, when he has to tell Gwyneth about it, and he's like, I can stop. And she's like, yeah, okay. That's one of my great failures in life is being able to get you to stop anything. You remember that scene? You don't remember? You look like you.
No,
you don't remember?
I'm reading Luke saying he's snapped. I'll try again. Go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah. Anyway, I really like that scene, and I actually thought they did a great job with the "I Love You 3000." It's like 3,000. God, that's a lot. Like
yeah, 600 or 700 she gets to.
Yeah.
Dude, the like I'm telling you, sometimes movies with just a shot without saying anything. The picture frame of Peter Parker, man, that was that hit me in the feels right there. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I like because that was what he's like. Look, I've got so much more, but the fact that he still lost the kid, that's what ultimately made him decide. Okay, I got to try and do this, but let's do it in a way where I get to keep everyone. So
yeah, this was unofficially Iron Man 4, by the way, because
truly
he's got an arc in this movie when he goes back in time to see his dad. Like, fucking guy, just flexing those emotional muscles, man.
Well, I swear to God, Jon Favreau must have been cheering when he read in the script that it's Iron Man that actually fixes everything. Like it all started with Iron Man, it all ends with Iron Man. Like it's a really beautiful thing. You know what I mean? This whole 22 movie thing began with Tony Stark, and now it's got to end with him too, and it's so fucking good.
Sure.
Like I really like that aspect of it, and honestly, I actually had to give this movie extra points too for being as comic booky as it is, as sort of silly Back to the Future 2-ish as it is at times. The fact that they actually go with a time travel storyline in a comic book movie when like that could be so fucking hokey nowadays, but it's still done in comic books all the time. So the fact that they actually did it and went for it, and the fact that, because this is the thing, in order to do it, it has to be like really big and it has to be really well done, because you can't pull off. If they had managed to send everyone back to those times and gotten around showing any of the other main characters from those movies, it would have felt super false. So the fact that they were able to get all of those people back from
Natalie
those other
Portman,
movies.
most
Natalie Portman
importantly,
for like 3 shots.
Yeah.
And then when I saw Robert Redford show up, I'm like, damn, Robert Redford just popped in for a little thing. Like that shit was, and even Tom Hiddleston, although he's got to be set up for his Loki series.
Oh, so Emily asked me this. And I don't have the answer. So let me deviate and ask Comic Kid here. As you're the first person I've genuinely been able to ask, keep sipping. I'll buy as much time as I can.
Yep.
So when Loki takes the little globe of power there, the cube, and disappears in the alternate Avengers 2012 universe, where did he go? And is that the first step of the series?
That's what everyone is positing, that that's what's going to launch his TV series. I mean, that would make the most sense. But to that end, I mean, what's this Black Widow series going to be? A prequel series? Like, because they're doing a Black Widow series too, I thought.
Are they?
I thought they approved 2 series. Let me see. Maybe I'm mistaken. It was Loki and.
All right. So while you're looking that up, when Shaggy showed up, just tap louder.
Yep.
When Shaggy showed up and killed Thanos, I was floored. Yeah, listen.
Oh, no, Scarlet Witch is the other one.
Yeah, and when she took her breasts out in that second act, I was like, what?
Woo!
This is so not MCU. Where does the MCU go now that Spider-Man Far From Home being the end of Phase 3? Well, we kind of touched on it earlier.
They're gonna go to the new Avengers, and they're gonna continue with Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're gonna probably jump Chris Evans into that, or Chris Hemsworth into that for the next one. I think he's excited at the prospect of possibly working with James Gunn. Maybe, I don't know, but like that'll be fun to see. So he'll join the Guardians for a movie likely. I mean, they were saying even before this movie that Captain Marvel was going to be the one heading up the Avengers. Now that Captain America has stated that he was no longer going to be a part of because Chris Evans said this was his last one.
Well, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll make him the leader.
Which, by the way, rednecks across this country are going to be pissed. Pissed.
Well, some comic fans were upset that it wasn't Bucky, because Bucky became Captain America in the comics as well after all this stuff, including after killing. Mm-hmm. He didn't technically kill Captain America, but he was a big pain in his ass. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, didn't they list what the next few movies were, or did they not show that yet?
Yeah. I mean, they have a pretty full slate as far as what's on the docket, but I don't. With my love of Star Wars, shit disappears so quickly, so I don't pay it much mind until they're shooting.
Star Wars crap, man.
Loki through time. It's going to be like Quantum Leap with Loki. Oh, all right. So I guess that is a bit of a transition from that movie into the TV series. TV shows are Scarlet Witch, Loki, and Bucky Sucky. Bucky, Sam.
Sucky? Is that what you said?
Bucky, Sam.
All right. So
Crossbones killed Cap. Oh, look at this. See?
Okay. Well, here we go. So I pulled up an article here.
Oh, and while we're on this scene, I'm sorry. The fucking when Captain America says "Hail Hydra" in the fucking elevator. Good. Oh, listen, I don't mark out for shit, but that was quite impressive.
I thought they were just going to redo the elevator fight scene, and then when they did that, I was like, oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So this article states that Black Widow is the next Marvel movie to begin filming, with a start date set for late spring.
How?
There's one little problem. She died, and so in other words, expect it to be a prequel. They're saying. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also cast are Emma Watson and Florence Pugh, so Hermione's going to be in it.
Yeah.
And let's see here. So Hawkeye, Marvel has promised their Disney Plus offerings. Hawkeye is going to the Disney Plus app, so there's going to be a Hawkeye show too. The Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're doing a buddy movie. The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Cool. So shouldn't they call that Captain America and Winter Soldier? So we'll see. Black Panther 2 is after that. Shang-Chi is after that. And that's actually a movie, not a series. That's kind of a surprise.
Yo, what if they just take X-Men on and just plug some holes there with that shit? Because the names you're saying don't say much to me.
Well, they could. Shang-Chi is just basically he's like Iron Fist, except he's actually Asian.
Which somebody just asked in the chat, they're making a Shang-Chi movie. Do you think the lead will be Asian?
Yeah, well, he better be.
Well, Scarlett Johansson's dead, so might as well.
That's the problem. Everyone was upset that Danny Rand wasn't Asian because he was the Iron Fist, but Danny Rand is white in the comics. So that was actually true to comics. Shang-Chi is Asian in the comics, so he'd have to be. And then Doctor Strange 2 is after that. Yeah. And then WandaVision is the Scarlet Witch series. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And then the Loki series. And then they're doing an Eternals movie. I don't know about that, but it's set to star Angelina Jolie and Kumail Nanjiani. So. Kumail's everywhere now. Yeah. He's even in the Men in Black movie as a little alien.
As a comedian, fuck that Twilight Zone episode because...
You didn't like that?
No. No.
Why? Really?
It's not. First of all, that comedy club atmosphere is not. Yeah. Another time.
Yeah.
Just no. Just no.
Okay, fair enough.
What do you think of Scarlet Witch versus Thanos scene? Personally, one of the scenes I got most excited for, and my favorite scene was hers from the whole series.
Yeah,
I agree.
that was a great scene, and so good, in fact, because that showed just a glimpse of how, like, I would have absolutely creamed my jeans if she had like looked at Thanos and said no more Thanos, and then like had dusted him or something, the way she did the mutants in the fucking comic series, because that's how the mutants stopped growing at one point in the comics. She literally just said no more mutants,
Oh,
and
really?
like all mutants, almost all mutants except for 200 of them disappeared and died at that very moment.
Hmm.
So it was really cool. Well, that's not true. They didn't die. They became human. So like some flying mutants just fell to Earth and died because they were
Hmm.
just changed to humans. So I was hoping they do something like that because she is that powerful. But yes, this scene that we got where she's just whooping Thanos' ass, and the only way he can get out of it was to rain fire from the sky and destroy most of his own army as well. Like that was really badass.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Um, I agree. Whatever Cecil said, tenfold. Um, I keep forgetting where we were. Are we caught up for the third act yet? The second act? Second act?
Um, I mean, just if you, I don't know if you want to touch on each bit of the heist or not.
Sure. I mean, I kind of referenced the elevator scene, which I had quite a geek out moment about.
So that was Cap getting the scepter,
Hmm.
and then Tony and Ant-Man were supposed to get the cosmic cube, but they failed
Hmm.
because of a gag. The Hulk got sent down the stairs, and Hulk hates stairs. So so they screw up as a result, and Loki gets away with the cosmic cube, and so they have to go back to a different time and get it from the
Oh,
70s.
yeah.
At which point we see an even younger version of Michael Douglas
Hmm.
that barely looked like him this time,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Hmm.
And they have to steal some extra Pym particles so they can travel back once again. And then, yeah, we get the Natasha and Hawkeye going for the Soul Stone and trying to sacrifice themselves for each other,
And let me just say, thank God two of them went, huh? Because
right?
if only today.
Yeah, certainly not convenient storytelling or anything. And it happened to be the two that cared the most about each other as well. But screenwriting. Um, so yeah, then they all show back up pretty much, and is that all of them? Or that's probably not all of them, but that's okay.
Mhm. The
Uh,
Stan Lee cameo, that was in the 70s, right? Which I didn't like for his last cameo.
I didn't
LinkedIn, you
either. Like
missed it.
it didn't feel like him, you know. It like all the rest of them, it was actually looked like Stan Lee, but this
I'll
one,
tell you what's funny. That car, like for a hot second, like I got genuinely confused because it's the same car and hairdo as Kurt Russell had in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I thought it was a red car and this was a white car.
It was it.
I
The
thought so.
hairdo was enough to throw me off. I was just like, wait, what?
The style of it felt that way, but when I saw the
Yeah.
license plate said "Enough said," I was like, "Oh, here comes Stan Lee,"
Oh.
because that was, obviously that was Stan Lee's coined that phrase, "Enough said," true
Hmm.
believers. But yeah, so that was he's just driving by the Air Force base and just
Hmm.
yells, "Make love, not war," which, you know, I don't know. Do you think that we're gonna get one more cameo in Far From Home?
I think so, right? Didn't they say that we had one more?
I thought so. Well, I thought some people were saying that this was the last one, but I thought we were going to get one more in that one. Um,
Yeah. I thought it was Spider-Man was the last one.
so anyway, when they all show back up with their respective stones, they realize that Natasha is no more, and they get upset, but not upset enough to throw a funeral like they do for Iron Man. So Natasha just gets tossed by the wayside.
Yeah. Listen,
Uh,
listen. Second act. We don't have time for that shit.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, from there, so what happens during that time is Nebula accompanies someone to get a stone, and while she does so, it turns out that Nebula's central cortex is somehow linked to her own central cortex across time.
That's wild shit too.
Yeah, that part was another kind of plot hole for me. But
Contrivance.
so basically, Thanos from back then sees what's going on from the original Avengers timeline. He sees that not only does he see that he actually succeeded, but he sees that all the stones are going to be in one place, and so he can succeed even earlier than he thought that he was going to.
I call that the R2 moment when she projects the fucking help me Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was very reminiscent of R2 with the sorry, I didn't mean to bring Star Wars.
No. Yeah, no.
It's very similar.
And then so basically the Nebula that's still loyal to Thanos decides to take the spot of our Nebula.
Old school Nebula, yeah, right. She takes the plate and puts it on her head.
Yeah, so that's the big design difference, is just one little strip right here.
More aerodynamic.
Yeah. So basically she goes back and she calls down calls up, I should say, in kind of a cool way. I thought this was neat. So she uses the wormhole to bring Thanos and his entire warship through, and it like comes up from the what do you call it, the teleporter, and blasts through the roof and like grows to its normal size out in the atmosphere, but not before they take all of the stones that they've gathered. And here was another plot hole: the fact that apparently Iron Man tech is enough to hold the stones, whereas the gauntlet was forged by Big Peter Dinklage on one planet, the only planet that can actually forge something powerful enough to hold the stones, and yet apparently all they needed was some Stark tech. So the Stark tech is what they use, and it's the size of a regular gauntlet, but of course that conveniently changes when they determine that Professor Hulk is the only one that can actually withstand the power of it. So he puts it on, and he does snap. And we don't really know for sure if it's worked yet, except that there are some extra birds, and that
birds are back. Okay,
Hawkeye is receiving a call. Well, it's not just birds. It's not birds are back. It's extra birds are back. So like apparently Ant-Man had to take notice of how many there were walking in, because there were this looks like
there's 10 now. There's 10.
There were only 5 before. Guys, that's double. That's got to mean gender, right? So then, but the other thing is that Hawkeye's daughter is calling, or wife or whatever. Maybe it was his wife, and so they see that something's happened, but before anyone can do anything, and before he can answer the call, someone looks up and sees that missiles are raining down, and the whole thing gets destroyed. Somehow, no one dies. But they all just get knocked below everything because movie, right? and Hulk, of course, is holding everything up, Professor Hulk, and but they all somehow escape, and it leads into the fact that Nebula reveals that she's a traitor because she shows up to get after a ridiculously long chase where creatures from the first Avengers movie are chasing Hawkeye through a sewer. They somehow don't catch him. Nebula finds him, and he thinks she's on his side still, so she takes the gun. And boom, Thanos. Well, not boom. There's still some other back and forth.
Yeah, there's about 50 minutes left in the movie, but
yeah, that's true. He doesn't get it for a while. But basically, the Thanos and his army shoot down to Earth before anyone can really mount a defense. But that's when the last part of the act starts, or the third act's kind of whatever. I'm getting tired. So this is when it's revealed that yes, Hulk's snap did work, because even though Captain America gets his ass pounded by Thanos, and his army crests the hill. Thanos's army crests the hill, but just before just before they attack, suddenly a bunch of Doctor Strange holes show up.
On your left.
On your left. That was actually a funny little throwback. I like that. And the other part that I liked was Captain America when he first encountered himself. There was some funny line there that I thought.
The fight scene that they had.
Yeah. They say something. One of them says something.
I
funny
got
there.
time for this. He's like, I know.
Oh yeah,
I got all day or some shit.
All day. It's like I know. That should make me laugh pretty hard too. But yeah. So all right, here we go. Let's see.
Big fight scene.
Big
Time
fight scene because everyone. So it turns out everyone did come back, and they start pouring in through the Doctor Strange holes. And we see literally every hero that has powers, and even those that don't, but can try and fight. And there's magicians everywhere. And then yes, big overblown battle that some people still are saying that the Civil War battle at the airport is better. And I might say that it's more easy to follow just because there's people involved. Yeah. But I did enjoy this.
When Giant Man punches that Avengers snake thing, that was awesome. Yeah.
So dope. Yeah. There was a lot of really cool single moments in this.
Yeah.
There wasn't quite a Winter Soldier holding Rocket as they both like turn in a circle and shoot.
Right.
That was a great scene, but there wasn't quite that. But still, it was a lot of cool stuff. I'm trying to remember some of the other specifics.
I thought.
When the Gauntlet Hot Potato was going on, that was fun. When Spider-Man ended up and he ends up on Valkyrie's back, he's like, oh, this is cool. It was great. I liked a lot of that scene.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like if you have a favorite in this series, you're probably pleased by something that happened, because it seemed like every major, even some tertiary characters, had a moment to look awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably a ton that we can forget. But actually, maybe not. Did Hawkeye have a moment where he was fighting Thanos? Because he seemed like he was running.
Hawkeye.
He was the first one with the hot potato, and I don't remember him really.
Yeah, I think he kind of dropped that because he was still in the sewer for a while, and I don't remember seeing him a lot in the final battle. I mean, there was a few times. He shot a few arrows. I'm trying to, because most of his action was in that sewer when he was like putting his explosive arrows as he's running and shit. And
right.
So yeah, I think they were like, okay, Hawkeye got his time. Let's focus on everyone else out here.
This is also the moment that we get Captain America, who's worthy.
That was great.
One of these numbers, and the fucking hammer comes.
That was great, and the fact that Thor's like, I knew it, because he's the one that saw it move in Age of Ultron. But yeah, and the fact, and he was using it like Thor too. So he's like swinging it from the handle and shit. I was like, that was real fan, that was wish fulfillment, fan service all over the place. But
does that happen in the comics?
Oh yeah, it's happened before. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Caps wielded Thor's hammer.
So can you tell me why that happens? Like why did it not happen in Age of Ultron?
Because it's whosoever is worthy. It's
what a good time to find out.
Well, no, it says that in the Thor movies. And even Thor says, remember when he grabs Mjolnir, he's like, I'm worthy still.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's able to call. And by the way, another plot hole. So from that point on, Mjolnir is no longer in the Thor timeline. So how does he fight back in the second Thor movie after his mom dies?
Yeah.
Because he literally takes Mjolnir. And I'm like, oh, well, you just fucked that Thor. I guess the Dark Elves are going to win in that timeline. Oh, well. So that was another one. There was just so many plot holes as you go through. But anyway, he says I'm worthy. And so it's and it even says in the first movie, they it shows Anthony Hopkins whispering to the hammer, whosoever is worthy, and the words appear on the hammer. May wield the power of the gods, and so. Captain America is definitely worthy.
So that has happened
in the comics, yeah.
So it's been explained, I guess, is a better way to put it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Ben Grimm says Thanos picked up the hammer too, and then letters that don't make a word. THPGG.
Did Thanos pick up the hammer when?
I don't know. Did Captain Marvel wield the hammer though? Did Captain Marvel wield the hammer? Wait a minute, what's going on here?
No, did one of us say Captain Marvel?
And then Dave from accounting had the hammer.
No. I might have said Captain Marvel when I meant Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
It's stupid to have too many captains. They should have just called her Ms. Marvel.
But Dave from accounting definitely did wield the hammer.
Dave, well, Dave's worthy. Come on, you know Dave.
Yeah.
Hang on. Did Thanos wield Mjolnir? No, he didn't. No. So there's questions. Can he lift Mjolnir with the Infinity Gauntlet? Maybe he did while he was wearing the gauntlet, but no, I don't. No, I don't remember him wielding the hammer because he couldn't. So yeah, that was a great scene though. That was Cody's holy shit scene. He's been saying like the I knew it moment was one of his favorite moments, and it was good.
The hammer scene?
What's that?
A hammer scene? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to, like, the emotional shit hit me more than anything. Like, I geeked out a bunch, but the story they take us on with Iron Man is just fuck that. Like, I have fatigue, so I'm looking for different shit from these movies, and you know the after effects, the opening 20 minutes of them just showing how shitty life is, and showing Captain America as a superhero. Emotionally, that was neat. You know, leading a support group, that was really neat. And then the arc with Iron Man is just fucking awesome.
Well, the Cap arc too. It ends. I mean, conveniently, but it was super appropriately. And was that him in makeup? It had to be, right?
I don't know. I was looking real hard at that.
I was too. Like, if so, that was fucking ingenious makeup because either it was him or they used his voice. Because Jesus, it looked amazing. So anyway, Iron Man though, his arc, I mean that.
Oh, and when Spider-Man comes back, don't they have a moment where they hug or something like that?
Yeah, he hugs him, and even Spider-Man's surprised. He's like, "This is nice." But I actually liked the Iron Man, the moment that he had with Doctor Strange too, where he's like, "You saw 14 million possibilities. Tell me this is the right one." And he's just like, no, he doesn't even do that yet. He says,
later.
If I tell you, then it won't happen. Because if he told him, he'd have to say, "You have to die," and it might not happen. So that's the thing. Like, I don't know what was that? Was he saying one, or was he just showing his hand, like, use the gauntlet? Like, I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, I thought he was saying this is the one. Like I that's what I thought.
Oh, maybe it probably is. This is the one. Okay, yeah. It could be kind of either though, I guess. But yeah, you're probably right. It was This is the one. Yeah.
It's whatever you want it to be. It's movies.
So this is immediately after Captain Marvel gets her ass beat. And he basically just places the thing back, the Power Stone that he uses to beat Captain Marvel back. And just then, Iron Man jumps on it and like starts to try and grab the gauntlet, but Thanos throws him back, and he's like, "You're too late. I am inevitable." And he just like snaps.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh shit.
And then he looks, and Iron Man turns his hand around, and the nanobots are just moving the crystals into place, the gems, and he just goes,
the jewelry.
I love that because I love that Thanos says, "I am inevitable," and he just goes, "I am Iron Man," and he just fucking snaps it. I loved that line. I thought that was so great, honestly, because that's how movie one ended, and that's how he takes it down. You know, like I dug the hell out of that line. So anyway, yeah, he.
So wait, Luke in the chat, well, he wants to be interactive that way. Says definitely signaling this was the one in 14 million. I didn't catch it at first. Luke has seen it 3 times, by the way. Thank God he's not here to discuss it. But Tony reacts like he knows it has to be him. So that's 3 trips talking there. Thank you, Luke. Thanks for being here.
And there was another thing that, well, no, I guess that wouldn't make sense. Like,
well, go on.
Well, I was just gonna say, right, because Tony encounters Thanos in one of those past timelines, and I thought for a second, I was like, oh, is that how Thanos knew who Tony was in Infinity War? Because he's like, Tony Stark. You know, I'm burdened with knowledge, and he knows who he is, but that wouldn't make sense because that Thanos goes forward and gets defeated and ultimately snapped away. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Luke. I know. It's just joshing. Let's all calm down.
Uh,
Uh,
so yeah, that's go ahead.
so Iron Man snaps his fingers, and bye bye. Which Emily, credit to Emily because she brought it up on the walk home. She said, Am I wrong for having a quick second of feeling bad for the fact that everybody's miserable about the fact that that when Thanos snaps his fingers, half of humanity gets wiped out. But who's to say that Tony Stark is any better for snapping his fingers and making all of their people go away?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
well, and they conveniently
shit.
don't show if Gamora was part of that or not.
Right.
Because she's technically part of Thanos' army at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's a there's no way that discussion's getting any weight in the movie universe, but it is a decent point. What makes you better by doing that?
well, yeah, I mean they're all there to murder us, but they are mostly just soldiers and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's true. That's true. It doesn't. I mean,
Yeah, World War II stopped when Hitler was dead, so they didn't. we only got rid of one. We didn't have to. Yeah.
didn't they even refer to that like?
Oh, did they?
Mustachioed baby or something like if someone could go back and
Oh,
get
right.
mustachioed baby.
That was the Deadpool thing. Like, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. And then so that's following that, obviously following the snap, everyone starts to fade away, and Thanos sees that his army is disappearing, and I like that those big worm things were like crashing into the ground and just like just poofing into a big bunch of ashes. I thought that was cool, but then Thanos eventually he disappears himself as well. But then everyone sees the toll that it took on Iron Man. I mean, the Hulk barely survived, and he's the Hulk. And
only Iron Man died. Through all that fighting, only one died.
Whew. True.
Woo.
Well, yeah, that's not, let's just say those of you that were concerned and like, oh my God, between Endgame and Game of Thrones, this weekend is going to have the highest body count. Bitch, two. We lost two during this movie. We lost Iron Man.
We gained trillions. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no shit. We lost two and only one during the final battle. The other one was lost pre-battle. Like, so it's I don't know. It's
John Steele saying Black Widow. Did Black Widow die?
Yeah. Natasha, she got thrown up.
Scarlet Witch and Black Widow because Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. And yeah.
No. They did that just to fuck with us.
Yeah, I was seeing what's her face?
That's what I'm saying. The body count was two. And it was supposed to be this big climactic battle and everyone, all this stuff at stake. And yeah, no, they, I mean, and even Captain America can still stay around, and he's become old again in the comics. That's happened more than he's died. He's aged to his supposed correct age, and then they've de-aged him again, like at least 3 or 4 times in the comic continuity.
Was this the first time that he called Spider-Man Queens too? By the way, because I thought that was cute.
No, I think obviously when they met. He's during the fight in the airport. He's like you from Brooklyn? He's like Brooklyn, and he's like Queens, and so that's why he calls him Queens. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I thought that was cute.
There was a callback to almost every Marvel movie in this. It was fucking cool.
Yeah, so I kept seeing people say the appropriate way for this to end is with whoever does the taking out of Thanos to say whatever it takes, and I guess they missed on that opportunity.
Oh, because of what he said. Well, I don't know why. Whatever he takes.
I don't listen. I'm not a diehard with this stuff, and again, I thought it was quite decent. I thought Iron Man is a hell of a line to go out with.
That's a fantastic callback again. Like,
sure.
I'm the one that started this. I'm the one that's finishing this. Fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was poetic. I mean, I really did. I liked a lot of the movie. There's a lot of plot holes and a lot of things that don't entirely make sense, but it was so fun and it was such a spectacle.
Oh, absolutely.
when's the next time we're going to see this many heroes assembled all in one spot?
Right. We take shit like this for granted, but this is probably our Empire Strikes Back moment.
Oh yeah.
For people that talk about, how big a deal Empire Strikes Back was, this is kind of it for this generation. I mean, listen, they could try to match it again in the future, but this was a big deal, and it followed through on that, which is saying something, because they don't always follow through like that. They tend to trip sometimes. Granted, like you said, there's a couple of I don't know if that makes sense, but
well, it doesn't. I mean, consider that not only is this, I mean, even if you don't consider this a 22 movie series, which you very well could, considering the fact that there have been four Avengers movies, and consider any other series, how many of them were as solid as these were, as a 4-movie series. Like, there's always drop off in normal movie series. And the fact that this hasn't had and like nearly that kind of, I wasn't a big Age of Ultron fan, but to have 3 Avengers and then Infinity War and then this are 3 of the best superhero movies that have ever been made, in my opinion, just because the comic book fan in me, the gathering of them all, it's really, it's made for fans like me. And I wish Justice League had done the same thing, but fuck, they didn't. And now they're building the individuals the way they should have to start.
Yeah.
And it's starting to go better. But I mean, I don't think even DC can, the only way DC can match this is if they do Crisis on Infinite Earths. That would be fucking badass, because then they lean into the alternate timeline thing and see that Earth 2 is something where only bad guys win. Like, the rules of that universe are that the bad guys always win, just like the rules of ours is that the good guys always win.
You might as well be speaking Chinese right now.
Well, maybe not to everyone, but that's why I just explained the difference in the universe. But you'd see different versions of all these same characters, not just the same versions in different times. You know what I mean? On one Earth, Superman fell to Russia and was raised as their number one bad guy or good guy. You know what I mean? Like, all that shit they could do. So they could do it in DC, but it would take a lot more than just a Justice League movie. I don't think they could achieve what this one did.
Eddie D says Doctor Doom needs to be the next big bad. I think since they've scooped up Fox, they have a lot better villains to deal with, at least. Thoughts, opinions, disagreements?
For the Avengers going forward?
Just Marvel as a whole. Just Disney Marvel moving forward. Now that they have Fox, they can kind of...
Well, look, I mean, so you're saying they need to cherry pick villains from other better properties?
Yes, there you have it.
Oh, come on.
What's the matter?
But those villains are made for those characters. Like, they're specifically set up, a lot of them, in order to be foils for the characters they're made for.
Didn't Avengers at some point, didn't like Wolverine be a part of that? And
yeah, he was part of the new Avengers.
All right, well, that's cherry picking, no?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they do the new Avengers, dude, was cool. That was Brian Michael Bendis did that. That was Luke Cage, who you could do, right? Because they own that too. And they did a series with him, so he's there. That was Spider-Man. That was also Ronin. That was Wolverine. And then it was like it was literally, it was not just Avengers. I think there was 1 or 2 regular Avengers in that series. So they could do that and call it the new Avengers. But I mean, and honestly, it's not a bad idea. But it's not like what I'm saying I don't want them to do is I don't want them to do a Thor movie and give him one of Iron Man's villains, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't make sense. If it's a team movie and like the enemies of each of those individual person gather together and make a bad syndicate, then yeah, of course that works. But just taking another hero's villain, like taking the X-Men villains and putting them up against the Avengers, I don't think would work as well.
Okay. So what I alluded to before, Anthony Mackie gets the shield. He's taking over as Captain America. I alluded to it before, and I really kind of hope that it does piss off the shithead rednecks of the country, where we have Captain Marvel and a black Captain America as the two bigs of the Disneyverse, because you know what? Fuck all that shit. Please let it happen. Let those two be the most important characters in this next phase, because
that would be hilarious.
I would shit. I'll go twice to the first either of those movies just to so. What are you butting?
I'm just saying, the studio won't do it though.
Well, why do that then? Why? I mean, they're already kind of.
I mean, you know what? They might.
Over.
You're right. They might. They are. I mean, everyone is getting more and more woke day by day in the entertainment industry.
Dude. I mean, if they weren't, that stupid girl power scene wouldn't have happened in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes a lot for me to like roll my eyes audibly, but that was that was much. That was way too much. Where it's just like, guys, we get it. Like, you were doing fine on your own. Like, yeah. Okay. You all need to do this together. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Awesome.
And ultimately, as if you want to play the devil's advocate, it's like, you can get all of them or just call Thor over. You know what I mean?
Like, right. Yeah, all of them, and it was actually Iron Man that did the job. So,
but Captain Marvel was beating Thanos' ass, and so was Scarlet Witch. Yeah, they both stopped though.
yeah, they warmed down a bit, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not their fault. Female athletes just don't last as long.
Yeah. We get it. Nice job. You proved your wokeness.
Mm-hmm.
Now please stop. We get it. Please stop.
You're like, no.
But yeah. Yeah. Where do we go from here, Cecil?
Where do we go from here? Those of you that like Buffy, you're welcome. So let's see here. We already went through the movies they're planning on doing next. So the next one that's slated for filming, as we said, is the Black Widow prequel, one would assume.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they're going to do the next Guardians, finally, now that the James Gunn of it all is back in place.
So we're done with Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., but not Chris Hemsworth.
That's the weird thing. Yeah, I think he's the only one. Well, I know his contract was up too, I thought, but okay. I don't think he put out there that he was as ready to be done as the other two. So, I think, see, because that's the thing. I think he said, if I'm not mistaken, after Thor Ragnarok, that he was almost done with Thor movies, but if they're going to continue to be like this, then he's fine continuing on. So I don't know if that's actually true or not, but yeah, and that's the other thing. Like they teased Adam Warlock at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, who was a huge part of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline in the comics, and then he just never showed up. So
who's Adam Warlock?
He's this basically golden figure. Like that's why the golden people were the ones that were. He was the post-credit scene of Guardians 2.
Oh.
But they're like, I'll call him Adam, and that's Adam Warlock is born out of a chrysalis like that, and he's the one that helps stop Thanos. But yeah, they didn't bring him into it, so I don't know what they're gonna do as far as that goes, because John Steele says Guardians with Adam Warlock he's heard, so I don't know. Screw you and thank you, Dino.
You dick. Thank you, Dino. So Luke said so predictable. As part of the stream, I don't know if you guys can see it, but Luke is here. He's just an empty box. He said so predictable. I'm curious to see what the hell he meant.
We should just put a comment box there with only his comments popping up.
Dina, can we get that done? Can we just get his comments in that box? Okay. Producer Dino's dropping in and saying that's not possible. Yeah. So we're just about done, unless you guys have something you want to spit out at us in this chat. But Oh,
Are we
score.
going as long as the movie yet? Because it feels like it.
No, actually not. We're kind of.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Christina says, thank you for the Buffy reference, and we were annoyed that there was no end credits as everyone in the cinema was waiting for.
I do have something to say about the end credits, actually. And no, I don't think so, because if you think about it, every end credit scene was meant to set up the next movie in the cinematic universe, or have something to do with it. And this is meant to be the ending. It's called Endgame. Now, if you stayed all the way to the end, you did hear a sound. Some people were just saying it's metal clinking. I don't get it. Like, no, bitch, it's a forge. They're building the next segment of the Marvel universe. That's, I believe, what that was meant to represent. You just hear clang, clang, and it's either that. I mean, if it's as specific as someone's forging something to go against Thor in an Avengers Endgame movie, no. I think it was just meant to symbolize the fact that they're building the next segment of the Marvel universe.
Oh.
Or
Dennis says Iron Man making his armor.
That could be it too. It could just be a throwback to that. I mean,
it's Tony hammering in the cave.
There you go.
That's awesome.
There you go. I think it could represent either, but yeah, that's probably more exactly what it is.
Luke's officially seen it 3 times, so shit.
Hey, I'll bow to that. I'll yield. Yeah. I'll yield. I still like the possible symbolism of it, though.
Yeah, it's whatever you want it to be, because it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want it to be. Yeah. Brie Larson in her red room.
Our theater told everybody there's no end credit scene because they wanted to clean.
Wow.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Dude.
Oh my God. Maybe I want to see who worked on this.
Yeah. Yeah. My uncle's a gaffer, motherfucker. I want to see his name. Oh, so Luke, he just read about it. He didn't. Well, I didn't expect you to say 3 times. Behind the Green Door remake starring Brie Larson. I don't even know what the fuck Behind the Green Door is. Shit. Brie getting hammered. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. See, shouldn't have many fans. I mean, that movie was. Yeah.
I didn't mind it as much as a lot of other people did. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was terrible.
No, and I'll agree with you there. It's not offensively bad. It's not.
I wouldn't put it in the
bottom
5 even. Like.
Oh no! Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of okay. It happened.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that appears to be caught up. I think that was a gun thing, and now he's back. Warlock will die. Rob be in their Guardians. Probably be. Maybe is that what? Probably be in the Guardians. Yeah. So there. So Warlock will probably be in Guardians.
Well, I mean that would make sense too if that's if that was the end credits of Guardians 2. Maybe this whole James Gunn thing didn't allow it to be done as part of Phase 3. Maybe it was meant to be, and so it would have continued that thread. But I don't know.
That James Gunn thing's a little tricky too, because another little secret that I had that he was always going to be back. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
That was just PR.
Yeah, I think we discussed it on Show Business. Like the 2 weeks after he got fired, we had a bit of a scoop, and you heard it here first. Thank you, Dino. Dino, why don't you stick around, because we're just about done. Oh, score, Cecil. What is your score?
Out of 10?
5. What is with this 10 bullshit? I'm trying to get Emily out of 10.
Do you allow 0.5s?
Sure.
Then do it out of 10, motherfucker. It's the same fucking thing if you allow 0.5s on a 5-point scale.
It's just listen. Letterboxd is 5. We're not doing the IMDb thing anymore. That's so, 2002. So okay, well, Letterboxd.
I give it.
You could give it whatever you want. Because if you say 8, I'll be like, okay. 5 plus 3.
I'll give it to you in a multiple of 5, but you're gonna do work. No, I would say I give it a. I like a tear barely creeped out, so I didn't even get as emotionally affected as I did as the first one. I don't know which one I actually like better, but I would say I'll give it a 4.25.
Oh, okay, so that's a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 7.5 out of
Well, it's
10.
8.5, but yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yep. See, making me do math because 4.5 is 9. Yep, you're right. 4.5 burritos out of 5 burritos. 5 is F-A. And John says 2 out of 5, and I gave it a 4.5. So I liked it more than you did. Jesus, that's nuts.
There's a lot of, I mean, it was fun. There was a lot of holes and one or two spots of questionable CGI and stuff like that.
4.5, and it was better than Infinity War. See, I can't wait to watch the 2 as 1 and see if it plays, for the fucking 16 hours that you're going to have to do that. But
I feel like it would be good. I mean, I honestly, I was a little, when it started, I was like,
it's gonna be like Kill
Bill. I probably
Bill.
should have rewatched it, just to.
It's gonna be like Kill Bill, where you're like, I don't judge the 2 separately. I watch them as one.
Well, it's it'd be fun to just re-edit it into one and just watch it that way.
The pull your eyes out edition.
Well, I always wanted to watch Tarantino's one volume version of that, but it was only released like once.
Cecil, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Well, if any of you didn't get enough of the spoiler Endgame talk, my channel is going to be doing one tomorrow because I had to wait for Fuego to be available. So Fuego and I, possibly Luis, will be doing our own spoiler discussion tomorrow. CP, you're welcome to join if you'd like.
I have prior engagements.
Yeah, I figure, and you're probably going to talk about it again on Monday. So.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll be doing that. We're going to be launching the first of a possible new series. It's more of an homage episode, but if people like it, maybe we'll do more of it. But we're going to do our own version of a horror kind of meme review. We're calling the homage episode "Try Not to Meme Review" because we're trying not to laugh and we're copying meme review, but it's okay. Everyone's doing it. It's not just copying it. We're just looking at Reddit, funny horror Reddit stuff. That's what we're going to be doing. And then our typical trailer reactions and movie review coverage. We still have like 10 reviews to present out of the Phoenix Film Festival, so those are coming soon as well.
Yikes.
Yeah.
You can catch me tomorrow on the Scream stream where we'll be doing this all over again.
Oh God.
And I'll be a minority. It'll be fun. And then like Cecil preempted, Monday night is the first time that we're actually doing a full split of show business proper will be here for 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. The after hours show will actually be on the late horror show, so you might want to sub to him to get the full transition. And now we won't have any more one going down. It'll be a fluid motion, I hope, right, Dino? Are you still here? Okay. All right. So that's it for both of us. Dino, you want to plug anything while you're here? Disembodied voice? Woo. See, that's sci-fi. That's cheating. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, say goodbye, Cecil. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, Cecil.
Oh,
Thanks
wait.
for joining us.
So Luke wants to plug his empty box. Luke, what do you got coming up on the empty hemisphere there?
Is Luke married? I hope not.
Yeah, he's got a fiancé. Sure.
Oh, wow.
You're the only one who's
Shouldn't it be
not...
up to him to plug his empty box then?
I see what you did there, sir. I see.
Sorry, Luke. I hope I didn't overstep not knowing.
Oh, you guys haven't met before?
I don't think so.
It's a bad first step, sir. No wonder I didn't join. Are we still live? What? Oh, yeah. No, bye, everybody. Bye.